Welcome to the CATO series session, The Internet of Things, an overview on how to acquire things securely. The CATO roadmap is shown here. This session is the third part of the roadmap, Internet of Things or IoT. Who is the intended audience of this training session? The intended audience is acquisition professionals that support the federal agencies in producing IoT solutions, products and services, including contracting officers representatives, contracting officers technical representatives, program and project managers. Here is the agenda for the session. We will start with an introduction, then move into defining Internet of Things, then product evaluation, contract negotiations, and end with a conclusion. To improve agency cybersecurity resiliency through the Internet of Things system lifecycle, this training will focus on two phases of the procurement process, product evaluation and contract negotiation. The product evaluation phase provides acquisition professionals with security and privacy considerations that should be discussed when entering contract negotiations for purchasing IoT solutions, products, and services. The contract negotiation phase explains how acquisition professionals may address Internet of Things risk management during the contract negotiation process. The Internet of Things is a term that was coined in 1999 by Kevin Ashton. Kevin was a British technology pioneer who created a global standard for radio frequency identification, or RFID. While bodies such as the International Organization for Standardization and the International Electrotechnical Commission are doing a lot of the work in the area of IoT, there is still no universal, certifiable standard for IoT security. On December 12, 2020, the President signed into public law the Internet of Things Cybersecurity Improvement Act of 2020 to establish minimum security requirements for IoT devices owned or controlled by the federal government. Specifically, this new public law requires the National Institute of Standards and Technology to issue standards and guidelines for the use of IoT devices owned or controlled by federal agencies, directs NIST to consider relevant standards, guidelines, and best practices developed by the private sector, agencies, and public-private partnerships, directs the Office of Management and Budget to issue guidelines for each agency that are consistent with NIST recommendations, including updating the Federal Acquisition Regulation, directs NIST to work with cybersecurity researchers, industry experts, and the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, to publish guidelines on security vulnerability relating to information systems, IoT devices, owned or controlled by an agency and the resolution of such security vulnerability. Requires any IoT device purchases by the federal government to comply with the NIST standards and guidelines. Requires contractor compliance with the NIST standards and regulations, and agencies to make a determination of such compliance before awarding a contract to procure or obtain an IoT device from a contractor. Here are some other definitions of Internet of Things by NIST, Wikipedia, and GSA Alliant 2 request for proposal. The product evaluation phase in IoT procurement is critical. There are two primary risk categories associated with the product evaluation phase. These two are privacy and security. Privacy is the risk federal agencies face when they fail to properly protect the privacy of sensitive information collected through the use of IoT products. Security is the risk federal agencies face when they fail to properly secure the configurations of IoT products or solutions. While privacy and security considerations are not new in the context of information technologies, the attributes of many IoT implementations present new and unique privacy challenges. Federal agencies need to trust that IoT devices and related data services are secure from vulnerabilities, especially as this technology becomes more pervasive and integrated into daily lives. The following privacy and security considerations can protect how personal data is analyzed, collected, processed, stored, transmitted, displayed, disseminated, and disposed. These considerations should not be treated as a comprehensive list, but rather represent fundamental principles that will greatly improve the security of any IoT product. The following are privacy considerations. Ensure only the minimal amount of personal information is collected from consumers. Ensure all collected personal data is properly protected using encryption at rest and in transit. Ensure only authorized individuals have access to collected personal information. Ensure only less sensitive data is collected. Ensure data is de-identified or anonymized. Ensure a data retention policy is in place. The following are security considerations: web interface, authentication authorization, network services, transport encryption, cloud interface, mobile interface, configurability, software firmware, physical security. Including specific contract language is a good risk mitigation for setting IoT security standards and is helpful in educating and promoting partnerships with vendors. Additionally, developing technology and security requirement language for agency contracts with vendors of IoT products, services, and solutions can improve IoT security protocols. With an understanding of the risks that need to be mitigated through contracts, an acquisition professional is better equipped to enter negotiations. The following slide lists key contractual terms that may be helpful during the process. However, not all of these terms may be material to procurement. Agency deployment of an IoT product will dictate which terms require spending negotiation capital to ensure the contract aligns with the risk mitigation strategy. Here are some contract considerations. Establish and maintain an information security program, cybersecurity incident response, jurisdictional compliance, downstream obligations, audit rights, IoT Cybersecurity Improvement Act. IoT vulnerabilities present a growing threat to GSA's mission and to the safety and security of customers. At the same time, these technologies present significant opportunities to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of federal agencies' capabilities. GSA should take proactive action in developing and implementing policy to both manage the risks and reap the potential of these technologies. Key takeaways. Each IoT acquisition must be supported by a business case. Each IoT implementation and associated data streams must be supported by security and privacy risk analysis. IoT data must be encrypted at every point, where costs are commensurate with risk and value. IoT networks must be monitored to identify anomalous traffic and emergent threats. IoT devices must be connected to as small a controlled network segment as feasible, rather than having unfettered access to the full Internet Protocol network. IoT devices must only be acquired through approved contract vehicles. IoT device supply chains from factory to installation must be actively managed. Network operations must be able to verify the network identity of IoT devices and track the provenance of the information they provide. Network operations must be able to detect, isolate, and remove unauthorized IoT devices. On this slide, you will find knowledge questions. Answer true or false to the following statements. The Internet of Things IoT Cybersecurity Improvement Act of 2020 aimed to establish minimum cybersecurity standards for IoT devices sold to the United States government. To improve agency cybersecurity resiliency, acquisition professionals should focus on the product evaluation and contract negotiation phases throughout the IoT system lifecycle. During the product evaluation phase, acquisition professionals should ensure an IoT solution, product, or service 1. Collects the maximum amount of personal information possible, 2. Encrypts all personal information by default, and 3. De-identifies or anonymizes the data by only authorized individuals. During the product evaluation phase, acquisition professionals should evaluate security considerations of any IoT solution, product, or service, included but not limited to secure interfaces, authentication and authorization, and software firmware upgradability. Acquisition professionals may address IoT risk management during the contract negotiation process by including specific contract language for minimum IoT security standards and protocols. If you have any questions or would like clarification on anything covered in this session, please feel free to send an email to the contact information provided in the last slide. Thank you for attending this training. Going forward, we hope you are able to utilize aspects of the program which were of particular benefit to your day-to-day work.